Okay, hi everyone. I'm
Hmm.
here with Yakir from Israel, who will be conducting a workshop tomorrow. We originally wanted to do this as a live stream, but it was not possible. And in fact, my Wi Fi is actually down right now. So I'm doing this over a hotspot. So let's hope it goes smoothly. But yeah, I just wanted to let Yakir have this opportunity to introduce himself and the workshop that he has to offer, which is titled Body Image, the Hidden Self. So, Yakir, why don't we start with just a little introduction of yourself and your work and how it is, how it has led to this concept of body image?
All right. Well, I'm working through the Feldenkrais method. And the Feldenkrais method is dealing with the neurological image of the body, meaning how we perceive ourselves is determining the way we will move or determining our possibilities of movement. So through acquaintance actually with our body patterns, we can widen the sense of ourselves and the sense of our being and the sense of our existence, actual existence in the world. So this is how I came through. Well, I started earlier I started with dance theater and then it somehow shifted to this kind of teachings, which is the Feldenkrais method. And from there on, I just continue travel. It,
Yeah, and
somehow Feldenkrais is very the way Feldenkrais approaches the body, or the Feldenkrais approaches um, movement, is very similar to the way Buddhism is dealing with the topic of aversion or desire. And somehow I kind of see those two topics related or complementary for each other working together. So I'm dealing in that world, that kind of world.
this Feldenkrais method, where did you learn about it? Did you learn about it, or you just somehow like
No, it's from Israel.
stumbled upon it? Like, yeah.
It's from
Ah,
Israel. Um, it's a guy named Moshe Feldenkrais, that was wise enough to spread it throughout the world in his own life. Um, Started around the 60s, I think, and then continued to spread. So now it's a worldwide movement.
okay. And this workshop sort of combines the study of neurology and also movement. As you say, it's about to do with how we perceive ourselves.
Hmm.
And your study was from dance theater.
Hmm.
So, what brought you into this approach of neurology? Like, how did that come about?
That's a nice question. um, if I try to answer it deeply, it might be long, but I'll try to answer
It's
it deeply.
okay.
But I try to answer it in a deep way and to make it short as well. So I was in my school, in dance theater school. I was very much engaged with the what is the thing that I express through this body, and the thing that I express, where it is originated. Um, and there I was really searching for that inner space of the origin of the expression or origin of the sensation that arose from within towards the outside. And I was really kind of objecting to any external form to influence me. Modern dance, ballet, or any other dance that is coming from a teacher or coming from a form or coming from another outside. And this endeavor was kind of difficult because what I've realized was that there are many things that are already implanted in me that I cannot forget. And then I was in search for that original thing that is has not been learned, maybe, that is from the beginning of time, that is very deep, that is very physical, and has a sense of authenticity. But authenticity, you can learn something and embody it, and then you bring it authentic. But I mean like authenticity of the organism.
So are you
And
saying like you want to see how you would move if you were like a baby who hasn't learned all these things?
yes, this is where I'm aiming. This is where I'm aiming.
Yeah.
Yes. This is
To unlearn.
to search for, yes, to unlearn, and as well to or maybe relearn the, maybe unlearn certain patterns, or at least know that those patterns have been learned, and just to mark this pattern, that pattern, okay, I learned it in this time, in that time, in that time. And then you arrive to a certain capsule that is being held there in the mind. And it's kind of ancient, actually, ancient in our own biography. So yes, this is where I'm aiming, and this is the workshop will deal with that undercurrent of our body image. So we are usually being we are usually moving through our automated way of moving. We don't really think how we will grab something to our mouth, or do anything, or even the hand gestures that I'm doing now. It's I they are not passing through any question. How will I do it? It is just being done because it's already automated. So what is that automated thing? And how we can be friends with it, and or at least know what it's doing.
Yeah, that's a very fascinating line of thought, right? Sort of to really go deep inside underlying the programs, I guess, like the code.
Yes, it's
You're trying to find the
underlying the
code.
programs, or it is just the programs, because there are many programs, and we are built from these programs. But definitely, those are programs.
And you're trying to decode the code that made the programs.
Yes, I want to hack it. I really want to hack
You want to?
Yes, what I realized that hacking the code is actually is very long process, since each code is describing a layer of image. Each code has its own image, or each program has its own image. And then hacking the code, meaning to go through each image and to get acquainted with it.
Yeah. And so how long have you been engaged in this work?
How long? Well, this line of thought got got crystallized more in the recent years, but it was, I'm kind of doing, my clinic is operating for 10 years now. So I'm working with people one-on-one, but the workshop that I'm running is more of the last 5 years, 4 years. And the workshop is dealing with that, hacking the code, one may say. But the workshop will actually be just diving into the sensation of the body. It might look to the outside just as a guided meditation. A person is laying, sensing his body, but the way that one is diving into that felt body may discover things, may discover the shape that he is, that the person is perceiving. So it is actually a body scan. The workshop is a body scan that is searching for that form, for the form of the body image. And it has a form. It has a form because we can feel it. But it has a form, a neurological form in our mind, like the homunculus there in the picture. It has a form. It has a way.
What is this homunculus?
The homunculus is the person that moving our body. And for example, if a person would play the piano a large part of his life, the fingers will take a lot of that image in the brain. There would be more neurological synapses, more neurological connections that will know how to work. Yes, they would know how to facilitate the fingers better. And the person who is really right-handed and the left hand is completely neglected, the homunculus representation would be the left hand would be smaller and the right hand would be bigger. Bigger because it has more neurological correspondences inside the brain. But the funny thing is that it feels bigger inside our body. One may find his hand actually bigger, the right hand bigger than the left hand, when he dives into the felt sensation and compares this kind of felt sensation.
So it's kind of like mental, like you have this physical image of the body and you're trying to find the scanning of the mental image, like
yes,
sort of something like that. And
it's exactly that.
So you were saying that you've been doing these workshops. And you said you've been doing these workshops for about the past 5 years. And I think when I first talked to you, you mentioned that this is usually like a whole day or a several day thing, right?
Yes, usually a 90-minute workshop is the introduction. And then throughout a few intensive days or intensive weekends, it is repeated again and again, and it's being searched for, not only lying down or sitting, it is being searched for while walking or being searched for while standing. So, and then searching for that image while standing and while walking is integrating the knowledge that you learn through the meditation, you integrate it into the movement.
And how would you say this would affect somebody in their day-to-day life? Like in what ways does it impact them or benefit them, or however you want to call it?
I can talk about myself. um, I can have some speculation how it may affect, but I can talk about myself, and this is much more
Compelling. Yeah,
accurate.
because it's your story. Yes.
Yes. The thing that it has done to me, it gave me the sense of presence, that I'm much more present with my body while doing the normal stuff, washing dishes or walking in the street. It's a kind of awareness that is an, creating another projection in your mind towards the physicality of yourself, the topic of physicality, because one may be aware to his feelings or its relationship with others, or there are millions of topics to be aware to. And the embodiment of the, the image of yourself is a real tricky one, because, for example, when I will meet my parents, obviously I tap into a different neurological place in the brain. Oh, immediately the body image that I'm acquainted with is being changed rapidly because I'm in front of a different relationship. So, for example, with my parents, it's very, it really helps to be aware of one's body. This is a parent discussion, or a relationship with a significant other. But yes, it aids. It gives kind of anchor to the experience of life.
Like putting you always in this state of being the observer, or being both simultaneously living and observing, instead of just sort of unconsciously being. Is that how you would describe it? So you're always sort of,
Yes.
you know, they always say that there is the consciousness that observes you and the consciousness that experiences you. And if you're just experiencing without observing, then you get lost in all the stuff. You're angry, you're like, ah, and then you're sad, you're like, oh. But then if you're observant, you can sort of observe it passing through, and you're in it, but also outside of it at the same time. Is that how you would say has
I would try to grab the
benefit?
both options. I would try to be in both options, to be the experiencer and the observer at the same time. While I'm doing the work with myself, I'm doing it very silently and without really moving, or moving really gently. And there I'm focusing, I am more the observer. But while handling life occasions, I'm trying to be both, at both places at once.
Yeah, I mean, I know how it feels to be in both places at once. So it's always fascinating when you're feeling something
Yes.
and you're also watching yourself feeling something. And then
Yes.
immediately like, I think this feeling is coming from this, and I'm feeling this because of this, all at the same time. You're still
Yeah.
feeling it, but you're also sort of like the third person watching you feeling it. And for me, it has been really helpful because it allows me to respond to the feeling more consciously, instead of throwing out, instead of being reactive. I guess that's how I would put it. I react more consciously, so I don't act or do things that I regret too often, at least. It still happens, of course, but I think it keeps you to be more calm, more centered, you know? Mm-hmm.
Yes. It gives a lot of aha moments. Like one can realize, ah, I got it. All right, that's it. It's happening now. All right, good. Okay. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Beware. No.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have this. I think as a species, as a community, as a whole civilization, I think we will grow a lot in a very short amount of time. The moment we have this understanding, I think it's like one of those little quantum leaps that make a huge difference.
Yes, it
Yeah, it's
is.
a subtle shift that makes a big difference. So
Hopefully.
yeah, I think this work you're doing is very fascinating. I think
Thank you.
I'm very curious to see how other people will benefit from it. And I think this brief interview hopefully will give people a better idea of what they can expect from it. I think when people see the image, they're like, what is this?
Yes, at least that.
Like, what is this homunculus? Like, what is these creatures that look kind of creepy, like,
Yes.
yeah.
A very intimate creature, actually. Everybody has it.
Very intimate, you said?
Yes, very
Yes.
intimate. Everybody has it within.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like a part of the brain, right? It's
It,
it's a it's a non-tangible thing.
it's a non-tangible thing. Has been discovered with researchers that gradually mapped it through open brain surgery, and they created with electricity neurological. um they sensitized this place area in the cortex, and they had the body. The person was wide awake, and he could report what is happening to him. It was part of open brain surgery when they discovered this homunculus, actually.
So this person had an open brain surgery and was conscious?
Many, yes. Usually
Wow.
when doing open brain surgery, and you don't want to cut things that are really important and will affect your life, then you leave the person awake with a kind of a local anesthesia in order to check what they are feeling throughout the surgery, to be aware with what is about to happen if they will cut this area. So they were doing those open brain surgery anyhow, not for the experiment anyhow. And then they just dedicated one part of the surgery to map this the cortex.
Wow. So these open brain surgeries were being done to people who need them anyway.
Yes, they needed them there
Um,
anyway. Yes.
what kind of conditions generally require open brain surgeries? Just out of
Uh,
curiosity.
Things of tumor,
Mm.
cancer, things like that, or hemorrhage.
Okay. So like things that grow in the brain that need to be taken
Yes,
out.
yes, and
Mm-hmm.
the researchers that discovered that were surgeries, and neurological surgeries.
Mm. Yeah, interesting how
Yes,
like
yes,
accidental discoveries are they happen.
yes, yes.
Mm.
Accidental that
So
they drive it into intentional.
yeah, and so they kind of found how these patients uh, perceive themselves. Is that how it was mapped? Like,
They found how much or what are the areas that control the lips, the tongue, what are the areas that control the legs, what are the areas that control the fingers, and they try to see the quantity or the area size, how well it
Oh,
is described in the brain, how well the brain know how to function lips and tongue. And this guy, the homunculus guy, has huge lips and tongue. While,
yeah, I saw. Mm-hmm.
yes, it is just taking the biggest part of his face. And when you come to think about a mammal that is being born and instantly this is the first thing that he is using. And
Yeah.
and then there is also the sucking of the milk. And
Mm-hmm.
us human beings, we use the mouth and tongue in order to speak more than any other animal. And this is
Yeah.
really, we have such an enormous capacity of control of our tongue and lips, uh,
Mm.
that we can, the, the representation in the brain is huge for only just this area.
I want to just share on my screen the image that is the homunculus. Am I pronouncing this correctly?
Yes, homunculus.
Homunculus. Yeah, I just want to show that image so people who are watching this can understand what you're talking about and you can talk
Hmm.
over it. So this is the image. And so
Yes,
you
this is
see
the
the
image.
hands are massive and the tongue is
Yes,
massive
yes, yes. The tongue is
and
massive, the
everything else
lips
is quite
are
small. Mm-hmm.
massive, yes. Yes, but the senses are big as well. The ears
Mm-hmm.
and eyes and nose are still big. All the whole face is big, and then those are the things that we use.
Mm-hmm.
We use more. The things that we use more will be more known to us than others, meaning we will
Mm-hmm.
have more control on them, motorical control.
Mm.
So, for example, I would not know, never would I know how to use my feet, for example, the way I use my tongue. My
Yeah.
tongue is well well educated. It's a
Yeah.
thing that is well, the whole thing that I'm doing now while talking is only because of my lips and my tongue
Mm-hmm.
and swallowing and everything, all that locomotor area and
Mm-hmm.
fingers as well. And then you can see that, well, this homunculus is just a figure, but each one has its own private one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so each person's representation will be slightly unique. Is that what you mean?
Yes, 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 yes. Each person has its own unique.
Yeah.
This is a general one, saying obviously hands are big, face are big, and then all other may be very small. But if a person is a football player, I can imagine that his feet and legs would be not that narrow
Bigger.
as the general
Mm.
homunculus there.
Yeah, and maybe a blind person would have massive ears. I don't know.
Exactly,
Or
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, 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 yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, exactly. And smaller eyes.
Yeah, because they don't use it, I guess.
Yes, they
And a
don't use
person
it.
who is deaf, yeah, would have small ears. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So okay, yeah, I think I really like that you touched on the actual origins of this image and what it's actually about because I didn't know until you told me this. So I
Thank
think
you.
that's a very good thing because people now can see that's what this picture is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think now it's already giving even for myself a much clearer um, idea about what this will entail. And do you have anything more to add? Any last words before we end this little
No,
interview?
not much, just that the workshop may be in sitting or lying down, and a person should find himself a good place to lie down. Uh, that's it.
Yeah, okay. So I will be posting this together with the link to register so that people can find it easily. So if you're watching
Great,
this right now,
great.
you will be able to find also the link to register. It is donation based, and the suggested donation is $10, Singapore dollars, not US dollars, because that's the payment currency that we can accept. Because normally you'll be getting this material more in a longer workshop, and I'm not clear how much they normally cost, but maybe you can share how much they normally would be.
It costs much, much more, but now I think with all this internet widening the view, or widening or spreading the knowledge, money is less important, I feel. At least now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
want it. I don't want. I don't know whether this habit of using Zoom will be now the worldwide way of conducting workshop. I still hope to travel around and be there physically.
Yes,
But
I also
yes,
hope so. Mhm. Yeah, but there is a certain beauty in this and benefits that you can't
yes,
have. But also the in-person experience also has benefits that Zoom can't really replace. So either
yes,
way, I think both
yes.
have its purpose.
It's
Yeah,
definitely more
so
creative to pass the lockdown like this.
yeah, certainly. But this is your
Certainly.
first time doing this workshop online, yeah?
Yes, this is the first time
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, so for those of you who are watching, yeah, you'll have this premiere experience of
Mm.
having this experience online, where you don't have to fly across the world to experience it if you're not in the place where it's supposed to happen. So I highly recommend checking it out, and you're also getting it at a better price than normal. So
Mm.
yeah, and if you are available Tuesday, which is tomorrow, at 6 p.m. UK time, which translates to 1 p.m. if you're in New York and 10 a.m. if you're in California, I highly recommend checking out this workshop. It's a bit late if you're in Asia, but if you're a night owl, maybe that's not the problem. But like, for example, where I am, it would be midnight. But normally I'm awake at midnight anyway. So yeah, so maybe this is not the problem. But yeah, check it out. And if it goes well, he might be doing more of this online. Who knows?
Yes,
We shall see.
I might.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Yakir, for this
Thank you
time
very
and
much.
for taking the time on this holiday where you are, this Israeli holiday, I believe, yeah? A Jewish
Yes,
holiday?
there was a Jewish holiday today. Tomorrow it's finished, at least.
Ah, okay. Nice. Yeah. So he took a time that he could have spent with family to do this little interview. So yeah, thank you for doing that. And I'm hopeful that this will entice more people into checking out this material. If not tomorrow, then another time. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. So have a nice evening. Yes.
Thank you. Bye bye.